Happy 4th of July. The 4th of July. A great day in America when a group of people got together and signed a document which declared that there were certain inalienable rights and that all men were created equal, and began American democracy, which has, been under assault for over 200 years and still somehow marginally survives, which I think is worth celebrating. But here we are in a place where democracy was formed, where the Icelanders in 930 came together, created a representative government. It lasted until 1262, when the various warlords that were being democratically represented finally decided that the only way that they would behave themselves was if they had a common king. And once again, we fell back on heavy authority as the only solution to human chaos. But now we confront another human space, another place where human beings will need to be active in their own governance. We're in cyberspace, many of us, and I think that within my lifetime it's likely that anybody who wants to have an email address will have one, and the whole planet, in a sense, will be in that space, and we don't know very much about how to govern that yet. And there was a time when I believed very strongly that ethics alone would suffice to govern that space, because there was no way that you could do anything to the body of the person who was wronging you or committing a crime or ruining the commons, which was the way in which authority was managed before. I mean, the reason that the king of Iceland was able to enact his authority was that he was then allowed to have the right to execute people, and they also executed people over there in that area. There's a pond over there where they drowned the women, and there's a place where they chopped the heads off the men. There's a place where they hanged the thieves. And that's the way authority has been, actually. The way in which jurisdiction defines its abilities to stop you or start you or contain you. And now we see cyberspace awash in spam, being used rather liberally for theft and other kinds of crime. Absolute cesspool of the worst sort of pornography, which it gets worse and worse as the people who buy pornography are constantly having to be stimulated by more and more extreme stuff. And it's all kind of disappointing to me at the moment. But I still have this great optimism about it. I cannot be forced to think that we'll not be able to come up with something that gives everybody in the human race a voice, and yet gives them, everybody else, an opportunity not to listen if we don't want to. And I think that there is also another opportunity afoot. I mean, when they created democracy in America, Jefferson and Madison and Washington and Franklin, even Alexander Hamilton, Adams, when they created democracy in America, they stated that there were certain inalienable rights that were naturally inherent to human beings, which I don't think had ever been done before except by philosophers Locke and Rousseau, possibly. And those inalienable rights were the right to liberty and to life and to the pursuit of happiness and to equality before the law. Now I think we have the opportunity to convey another inalienable right, which has not been promulgated before, and that is the right to know. The right to know anything that is pertinent to your life in that which governs you. The right to know any information that's been generated with taxes that you paid. But not only that, the right to know anything that is humanly pertinent. We have the means now to deliver practically any information to that kid in Mali whose grandfather would never have seen a book. Or if he saw a book, he wouldn't have seen more than 5. We have a right to be curious about everything and to follow that curiosity as far as it goes. And there are forces that stand in the way of conveying that right, just as there were forces that stood in the way of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness on July 4th, 1776. But I think we will prevail. And if we don't prevail, we'll certainly have a great time trying. Thanks. What a great place to have a government.